Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the different types of costs in a slightly different way and the way we look at them when we're making decisions. So the first is incremental costs. This is the additional costs incurred with a course of action. Okay, so for example, let's say we're deciding to paint our building. Okay, so the incremental costs of painting our building, let's do it this way. Let's say we're deciding whether we're going to paint our building or we're going to put up siding. So the incremental cost, we know we're going to do something, okay? We absolutely know we're going to do something. The incremental cost would be the difference in the cost of siding, which is more expensive, versus just painting, right? So what's the additional cost that we're going to pay in order to have siding instead of paint? So relevant benefits. So that's either incremental revenue or a negative expense, right? A reduction in expenses. So, for example, it may be that if we decide to do siding, it's going to last longer. So instead of having to paint every 5 years, the siding will last 30 years. So that would be an incremental or a relevant benefit, because that's going to be a reduction in future expenses. Okay, sunk costs. They're already paid, they can't be recovered. They're irrelevant to the decision. Okay, so let's say that we, with our building, let's say that we already hired a painter and the painter went bankrupt. Okay, and we already paid a deposit. That's really irrelevant to the decision. We can't get that deposit back. Whether we decide to paint or do siding, that money isn't coming back. Sunk costs, sometimes people get really attached to sunk costs and they want to stick with a course of action because of the money they've already invested. Let me give you a different example. Let's say my car broke down. This actually happened to me. My car broke down and it was overheating. And so I took it in somewhere and they're like, whatever, they fixed it. It was like $500 and they fixed it. And I was like, all right, so now it's fixed. And I went driving it around, sure enough, started overheating again. And I think I took it somewhere else and spent a little more money. Okay, so then finally I sucked it up and I took it to the dealership, which killed me because you know they charge more there. But I did, and I took it there and they're like, here's what's wrong, here's what you have to pay if you want to get this fixed. So now my decision is, do I want to pay all of this money to fix my car? Or do I just chuck it and buy a new car, right? So that would be some of these other decisions. What's irrelevant is the money I already paid. Because the money I paid to some other people who weren't able to fix it, I'm not getting that back. So I can't get all like, oh, well, you know, I've already spent all this money to fix it, so maybe I should keep fixing it, or I've already spent all this money, so maybe I should just junk it, right? The money I've already spent doesn't matter. What matters is either what I'm gonna spend to fix it now, or what I'm gonna spend to buy a new car. All right, out-of-pocket costs. So that's the total future costs. So for example, going back to our painting example, the out-of-pocket cost for siding would be the total cost for the siding. The out-of-pocket cost for the paint would be the total cost for the paint, whereas the incremental cost was when we were kind of deciding between the siding and the paint, and it was the difference between siding minus how much it cost to paint, okay? Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is so important to look at if you have constrained resources. If you have all the money in the world and all the time in the world, then who cares? Opportunity cost doesn't matter. Most of us have limited financial resources and limited time. So the opportunity cost is what we don't get to do because we chose a course of action. So for example, all of you are enrolled in school, and that means you don't get to maybe work more or spend more time with your family or spend more time with your friends because you've chosen to spend your limited amount of time in school. Going back to my Oracle example. So we took our proposal. We had this great proposal. We were going to do all this system stuff, and we were going to be able to upload the employees into the Oracle system. They were going to look and feel like Oracle employees, but we weren't going to have broken any laws. The European employment law people were happy. They weren't happy. They were willing to go along with it. we're ready to go. But what we needed to do is make some minor changes to the system, the Oracle system. And even minor changes are kind of a big undertaking at Oracle. But anyway, that's what we were gonna do. They weren't huge. We didn't think it was a huge roadblock. So anyway, so we go and we sit down. I'm sitting there with the chief of staff. And so we present this to him. And he's on board. He's like, yeah, what? You need to change the system. At the same time that we were making this proposal, we had just gone live on a new version of the Oracle software, our internal software. And there was a bug. And there was actually a pretty big bug. Nobody was able to report their time and expenses. And it was really, really significant. And at that time, it was all hands on deck to fix that. And so the thought of even taking 1 hour of IT time, and we needed more than an hour, but even 1 hour of IT time to do anything that wasn't fixing the current system was absolutely unfathomable. It was the opportunity cost of taking IT resources away from a mission critical system that ultimately that opportunity cost was too high. My project got rejected, but I still got my free trip to Dublin, Ireland, so I call that a win. All right, I think next we're gonna go into some worksheets and be on the computer, so I'm gonna say bye to this beautiful outside day. It's a nice day, I hope you joined me outside, and I'll see you back at the computer. All right, bye.